That economic growth is a good thing. Can you believe that? I've been studying economics for the past 3 years here at Auburn. My dad has also invested millions of dollars in building houses, so I know firsthand about the housing bubble. The housing bubble can be used as a good tool in understanding how money supply plays a role in production. However, we will go over the macroeconomics of monetary policy by defining some key terms, going over the mainstream perspectives and the remedies for recessions, contrasted with the Austrian perspective and the business cycle. First, I must define some key terms. Capital goods are capital resources such as factories, machinery, and railroads used to produce other goods. Investment is when you spend money developing a project, and if you don't have any money to invest, you can get a loan. A loan will have an interest rate to it depending on how much money the loaner has to give you. The interest rate, for example, if I have $1 and you would like to borrow $1, I would give you a high interest rate because that's all the money I have. If I have $100 and you still want to borrow $1, I'll give you a low interest rate because I'll still have money left over. Now there are two ways to lower the interest rate. The first way is for loaners to save up money so they have more money to loan. But the second way is to create or print money. That is credit expansion. When a bank lends out your deposits to increase its holdings, that's credit expansion. Printing millions of dollars, that's credit expansion. When you basically get money out of nowhere, that's credit expansion. Now that we understand these key terms, let's move on and look at the mainstream perspective and their counterparts. John Maynard Keynes, the father of macroeconomics, and Nobel laureate Paul Krugman have influenced banks and monetary policies all around the world. Krugman once said that a recession happens when, for whatever reason, a large part of the private sector tries to increase its cash reserves all at the same time. This means that saving money causes recessions. Keynes referred to this as the paradox of thrift. Now, he thought that you can cure recessions, that you can avoid recessions by increasing the money supply through credit expansion. That is printing money, not savings. The Austrians, however, believe that this mass savings is merely an after effect of the credit expansion, that is printing money. So the Austrians believe that printing money causes recessions. Without credit expansion, the solution is save money, accumulate capital goods, then start a business. But that takes time. The impatience for this long-run, sustainable growth is apparent in Keynes' quote, "In the long run, we are all dead." Now that you understand the subtle differences between these two schools of economic thought, let's look once more at the Austrian perspective. This is the Austrian business cycle that won Hayek the Nobel Prize in 1974. As you can see, simple, right? This is your money supply, and if you expand credit, as you see over here, expand credit, or print money, the first people to get this money, and I want you to ask yourself who these first people are, they will bid up the prices of the resources they bought with essentially newly printed money. So they inflate the goods that they purchased with money that has no capital behind it. Now, this money creation undeniably increases the money supply, giving a low interest rate on the bank's returns. This is low, that is, in comparison to the natural rate of interest. So this is an artificially lowered rate because of all the newly printed money. And now people are saving less in real terms and are over-investing in projects that they see many people consuming at the current time. But these investments are malinvestments. However, this is your boom because a lot of people are spending money. Now, over time, people realize that their resources are getting scarce, so they increase the prices of the product. They inflate the prices. This forces people who didn't get any easy money to have to save even more. So they realize that they have overconsumed and must be forced to save. Here's a good way to think about it. The Iron Bowl's coming up this semester. Now, a lot of people's parents pay for their tickets, so that's easy money for them. So we'll consider the parents like the central bank printing money for corporations. Now, the people that don't get this easy money from their parents, they have to save up their money. This might take some time, And over time, people who have easy money, they buy all the tickets, and now the person who has to save up money, who has to work for it, it takes time. That the prices of the tickets are doubled, if not tripled now, as they were originally, compared to the people who got the easy money. So while the people who have invested in long-term projects, like building houses, for instance, they now realize that the market is bombarded with their products, the houses. There's too much supply, not enough demand, and this fierce competition drives down the prices. So they are losing profit and are probably in debt to the banks. They may foreclose on their house and lose all profits and not be able to pay off their loans. This is your bust. But hark, the central bank comes and prints more easy money so that people can spend more money. But this submerges the people into debt to them for printing easy money that they hardly did any work for, that they had no capital behind. Now that we understand the Austrian business cycle, let's review what we've learned today. In conclusion, with the understanding of some key terms, the mainstream perspective and the remedies of credit expansion, contrasted with the Austrian perspective and the Nobel Prize winning theory of the business cycle, we have sifted through an extremely erudite topic. That is the monetary policies that run our world. I would like to end here with a quote today by the most notable Austrian economist, Ludwig von Mises. He said, "If it were really possible to substitute credit expansion, cheap money, for the accumulation of capital goods by savings, there would not be any poverty in the world." Thank you.
Isn't the bust, it's the boom that should make you feel leery. That's the thrust of my theory. The capital structure is key. Malinvestments wreck the economy. The boom gets started with an expansion of credit. The Fed sets rates low. Are you starting to get it? That new money is confused for real loanable funds, but it's just inflation that's driving the ones who invest in new projects like housing construction. The boom plants the seeds for its future destruction. The savings aren't real, consumption's up too, and the grasping for resources reveals there's too few. So the boom turns to bust as the interest rates rise, where the cost of production price signals relies. The boom was a binge, that's a matter of fact. Now it's devalued capital that makes up the slack. Whether it's the late 20s or 2005, booming bad investments seems like they'd thrive. You must save to invest, don't use the printing press, or a bust will surely follow, an economy depressed. Your so-called stimulus will make things worse. Just more of the same, more incentives perverse. And that credit crunch ain't a liquidity trap, just a broke banking system. I'm done, that's a wrap.
Yo, this is Eric Fed Up, so listen up. A paradigm shift is when everyone believes in something that was previously thought of as ill-conceived. Look it up on Wikipedia. Kinesia to control the mind of the masses, control the media. So don't go with the circular flow. We must lateral us, learn to lead and not follow. Mark Twain used to say that history doesn't repeat, it just rhymes. To do it with this new paradigm. Ooh.